Something shifted on February 1st when the full moon blazed through Leo, and if you're still feeling the aftershocks today, February 7th, there's a reason your energy field hasn't settled back to normal. Your nervous system keeps firing, your heart keeps pounding. Your intuition keeps screaming that something massive is building just beneath the surface of your reality, and you're not imagining it. Today marks the closing of the Leo full moon portal, the final days when the cosmic door between who you were and who you're becoming begins to seal shut. If you haven't stepped through yet, if you haven't claimed what this full moon was trying to activate inside you, the universe is giving you one last chance before the next wave hits. And trust me, what's coming after this portal closes is going to test every single person who isn't standing in their authentic power. Before we go deeper into what's unfolding right now, if you're feeling this intensity already, leave a like and subscribe so the universe knows you're ready for these activations. And drop a comment saying I claim my authentic power to lock in this frequency. Let's dive in. The Leo full moon that peaked on February 1st at 13 degrees wasn't just another lunar event. It was a cosmic reckoning, a mirror held up to your soul asking one brutal question: are you living from your heart, or are you performing from your wounds? With the moon in fiery, proud, unapologetically authentic Leo opposing not just the sun, but an entire stellium of planets, in detached, intellectual, group-minded Aquarius, including Mercury, Venus, Mars and Pluto, the tension between being true to yourself and conforming to what others expect reached a breaking point. The full moon illuminated every single place where you've been dimming your light to make others comfortable, where you've been playing small to fit in, where you've been hiding your gifts because you're afraid of being too much. And now, 6 days later on February 7th, as the moon wanes through Virgo and begins its descent toward the dark moon phase, you're in the integration window. This is where cosmic lessons either root into your reality or slip away like dreams you can't quite remember. The universe is not being gentle right now. It's asking you to make a choice. Will you embody the truth this full moon revealed, or will you slip back into the old patterns that feel safer but suffocate your soul? Here's what most astrology content won't tell you about full moon portals. The actual full moon moment is just the peak, the climax of energy that's been building for 2 weeks. But the real transformation, the actual cellular level shift, happens in the 3 to 7 days after the full moon, as the light begins to wane and the energy moves from external revelation to internal integration. This is where you are right now on February 7th. You're in the closing ceremony of the Leo full moon portal, and if you've been feeling exhausted, emotionally raw, or strangely detached from your normal routines, that's because your energy body is processing the upgrades that were downloaded during the full moon. Leo rules the heart, the physical organ that pumps life through your body, and the spiritual center that holds your deepest truth. When the full moon lit up Leo, it also lit up your heart chakra, clearing old wounds, dissolving defensive armor, releasing fears around being seen, being judged, being rejected for who you really are. And that clearing doesn't just happen overnight. Your nervous system needs time to recalibrate. Your emotional body needs space to release what no longer belongs. Your mental body needs to catch up to the new frequency your soul is operating on. What makes February 7th specifically significant is that today, the waning moon in Virgo is asking you to get practical with the revelations the Leo full moon brought. Virgo energy is about refinement, discernment, purification, taking the raw fire of Leo's truth and translating it into actionable steps, daily practices, embodied changes. The moon in Virgo wants to know, what are you actually going to do with what you learned about yourself? How are you going to restructure your life to honor the truth that came through? What habits, relationships, thought patterns, or environments need to be released because they no longer match the frequency of who you're becoming? This is not theoretical astrology. This is your soul asking for proof of concept. You can't just have a revelation and go back to business as usual. The universe is watching to see if you're serious about this transformation or if you are just window shopping in the spiritual realm. And here's the cosmic pressure point. As this Leo full moon portal closes over the next few days, another much more intense portal is already beginning to open. Saturn and Neptune are moving toward their exact conjunction at 0 degrees Aries on February 20th, an alignment that happens once every 36 years, but at the 0 point of Aries, the very first degree of the entire zodiac, only once every few centuries. This is a reality-restructuring event, a cosmic reset button, a dissolution of old world structures and the birth of entirely new paradigms. And it's coming in less than 2 weeks. So the Leo full moon wasn't just about you finding your authentic voice and stepping into your power. It was preparing you for what's about to unfold when Saturn, the planet of structure, discipline and karma, merges with Neptune, the planet of illusion, spirituality and dissolution, at the starting point of the zodiac. Think about what that means. Everything you thought was solid is about to become fluid. Everything you thought was permanent is about to reveal itself as temporary. Everything you've been holding on to because it felt safe is about to dissolve because it was never real to begin with. And the only thing that will remain standing, the only foundation that won't crumble under this cosmic pressure, is your authentic truth, the version of you that was activated under the Leo full moon. This is why the universe has been pushing you so hard to get real with yourself, because what's coming requires you to be standing on the bedrock of your own soul, not on the shifting sands of other people's expectations, societal conditioning, or survival patterns from your past. Let's talk about who is feeling this most intensely, because not everyone experiences astrological transits with the same level of impact. The Leo full moon and this closing portal phase is hitting 3 zodiac signs with particular force: Leo, Aquarius, and the other fixed signs, Taurus and Scorpio. If you have significant placements in any of these signs, your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus or Mars, you are living through a complete identity reconstruction right now. For Leo placements, this full moon was a cosmic spotlight moment, the universe literally demanding that you step into your main character energy and stop apologizing for taking up space. You've spent too long managing other people's egos, downplaying your gifts, pretending to be less than you are so others don't feel threatened. The Leo full moon shattered that pattern. You can feel it in your body, can't you? That restless fire, that impatience with anything that feels inauthentic, that sudden inability to tolerate situations where you're not being seen or valued for who you truly are. Over the next few days, as this portal closes, you're being called to make concrete changes. This isn't about grand gestures or dramatic announcements. It's about the small daily choices: who you say yes to, who you say no to, what you create, how you show up, what you're no longer willing to compromise on. The universe is asking you to live from your heart center, not from your wounded ego or your fear of rejection, and it's giving you a very narrow window to lock in this frequency before the Saturn-Neptune conjunction arrives and test whether this transformation was real or just a fleeting inspiration. For Aquarius placements, this full moon brought a different kind of reckoning. With the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars and Pluto all piling up in your sign, opposing the Leo moon, you've been caught in the tension between your need for independence, your allegiance to the collective, and your deep fear of losing yourself if you get too close to anyone. Aquarius energy loves humanity but struggles with intimacy. It can conceptualize connection but often resists the messy, vulnerable, heart-centered reality of actually letting someone in. The Leo full moon was asking you to stop intellectualizing your emotions and actually feel them, to stop observing your life from a detached distance and actually participate in it, to stop hiding behind ideas and ideals and show up as a flawed, feeling, fully human being. And that's terrifying for you, isn't it? Because your safety has always been in your mind, in your ability to rise above the chaos, to see things objectively, to remain unaffected. But unaffected also means disconnected. And as this portal closes, you're being asked to choose connection over self-protection, vulnerability over invulnerability, heart over head. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries that's coming is going to dissolve your old identity structures anyway. You might as well start building the new version now while you still have some control over the process. For Taurus and Scorpio placements, this Leo full moon activated your axis of resources and transformation, what you value versus what you need to release, what you're holding on to versus what's holding you back. Fixed signs struggle with change because you find your power in stability, consistency, loyalty. But the universe is asking you to metabolize a new truth. Sometimes the thing you're most loyal to is the very thing preventing your evolution. Maybe it's a relationship that used to nourish you but now drains you. Maybe it's a career path that once felt aligned but now feels like a cage. Maybe it's a version of yourself that served you well in the past but is suffocating your future. The Leo full moon portal closing phase is giving you clarity on what needs to go, even if letting go feels like losing a part of yourself. Because here's the spiritual truth that fixed signs need to hear: you are not what you hold. You are not defined by what you possess, who you're attached to, or what identity you've built over the years. You are the consciousness underneath all of that, the awareness that remains when everything else falls away. And the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is going to strip away everything that isn't essentially you anyway. Better to release it now with grace than to have it ripped away later in crisis. Now, even if you're not one of these three sign groups, you're still being affected by this portal closing, because the Leo-Aquarius axis lives somewhere in your birth chart, activating specific houses and life areas. But beyond individual charts, there's a collective frequency shift happening right now that everyone can feel. The Leo full moon came during Aquarius season, a time when the collective consciousness is focused on innovation, progress, social change, breaking free from outdated systems. But Leo energy doesn't care about the collective. Leo cares about the individual, the unique expression, the singular voice that refuses to be homogenized into groupthink. And that's the tension we're all navigating right now. How do we contribute to the greater good without losing ourselves in the process? How do we honor our uniqueness while still being part of a community? How do we lead from the heart in a world that often rewards strategic detachment? These aren't just philosophical questions. They're lived dilemmas playing out in your relationships, your work, your creative expression, your sense of purpose. And the closing of this portal is asking you to land on your answer, not the perfect answer, not the answer that makes everyone comfortable, but your answer, the one that feels true in your bones even if it doesn't make logical sense. Let's talk about what happens physically and energetically during a full moon portal closing phase, because this is where astrology becomes embodied experience rather than abstract symbolism. Your body is a sensitive instrument that registers cosmic frequencies whether your conscious mind acknowledges them or not. During the full moon peak, your emotional body was wide open, receptive, downloading information from the collective field. But now, as the moon wanes, your system is processing, sorting, deciding what to keep and what to release. You might notice you're more tired than usual, sleeping longer, needing more rest. That's not laziness, that's integration. Your cells are literally reorganizing based on the new frequency you stepped into. You might notice you're more emotional, crying for no apparent reason, feeling waves of grief or anger or unexpected joy. That's not instability, that's release. Your emotional body is clearing old imprints that don't match your new truth. You might notice you're more sensitive to your environment, suddenly unable to tolerate certain people, places, or activities that you used to manage just fine. That's not judgment, that's discernment. Your energetic boundaries are sharpening as your frequency rises. You might notice synchronicities increasing, meaningful coincidences, unexpected messages, dreams that feel prophetic. That's not random, that's confirmation. The universe is showing you that you're on the right path, that your intuition is accurate, that the shifts you're making internally are being reflected externally. Here's what you need to do over these next few days as the Leo full moon portal closes. First, honor the integration process. Don't force yourself back into productivity, busyness, or performance mode if your body is asking for rest. The cosmic downloads you receive during the full moon need time to root into your nervous system. Second, pay attention to what your heart is telling you. Not your fear, not your logic, not what you think you should want, but what your heart actually desires. Leo rules the heart for a reason. It knows the truth even when your mind is confused. Third, take at least one concrete action that aligns with the revelation the full moon brought. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Maybe it's setting a boundary you've been avoiding. Maybe it's starting a creative project you've been postponing. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation. Maybe it's simply choosing to prioritize your own needs for once. The universe responds to demonstration. Show that you're serious about this transformation and cosmic support will flood in. Fourth, be willing to let go of what no longer fits. People, patterns, identities, beliefs. If it feels heavy, restrictive, or draining, it's probably not meant for your next chapter. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction is going to dissolve it anyway. Better to release it consciously than to cling until the universe pries your fingers open. And, finally, prepare yourself for what's coming after this portal closes. Because as intense as the Leo full moon was, it was just the warm-up act. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees Aries on February 20th is going to be a collective reset unlike anything most of us have experienced in our lifetimes. Saturn represents structure, boundaries, discipline, the container that holds reality together. Neptune represents dissolution, spirituality, illusion, the force that melts boundaries and reveals that nothing was ever as solid as it seemed. When these two planets merge at the very beginning of Aries, the sign of new beginnings, individual will and courageous action, we're entering a portal where the old world structures dissolve and new paradigms are born. But that dissolution phase, the time between what was and what will be, is disorienting, destabilizing, and potentially terrifying if you're not grounded in your own truth. This is why the Leo full moon came first, to anchor you in your authentic power before the great unraveling begins, to remind you that your heart knows the way even when your mind can't see the path, to activate your inner fire so you can navigate the cosmic waters that are about to rise. Think about February 7th as your checkpoint moment. The universe is asking, did you integrate the lesson? Did you embody the shift? Are you standing in your truth or are you still playing it safe? Because in less than 2 weeks, when Saturn meets Neptune at 0 degrees Aries, there will be no more room for pretense, performance, or people-pleasing. The cosmic pressure will be too intense. The only way through will be radical authenticity, unwavering self-trust, and the willingness to let everything that isn't real burn away in the fires of transformation. And if that sounds dramatic, good, because it is. We're not living through normal times. The outer planets have shifted into fire and air signs, activating yang energy, masculine force, forward momentum, innovative disruption. The slow, steady water and earth energy that dominated the first half of this decade is gone. We're in acceleration mode now. Things are moving fast, changing rapidly, breaking down and breaking through simultaneously. And the people who are going to thrive in this new paradigm are the ones who can stay centered in their own truth while everything around them dissolves into chaos. So as this Leo full moon portal closes over the next couple days, take a moment to honor how far you've already come. You're not the same person you were 2 weeks ago. Something inside you cracked open, shifted, awakened. You saw yourself more clearly. You felt your own power more deeply. You recognized the places where you've been hiding and the potential you've been suppressing. And now the universe is asking you to live from that recognition, to embody that power, to step fully into the person the Leo full moon revealed you could be. Not someday, not when you feel ready, not when conditions are perfect. Now, today. In this exact moment as the portal closes and the next wave begins to build. Because the cosmic momentum is only going to intensify from here. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction, the upcoming Aquarius solar eclipse on February 17th, the nodes shifting into Leo and Aquarius later this year, all of it is pointing toward the same message. The old version of you, the version that played small, that prioritized safety over truth, that dimmed its light to avoid threatening others, that version doesn't get to come into the next timeline. Only the authentic, courageous, heart-centered version of you survives what's coming next. And here's the beautiful paradox at the center of this whole cosmic moment. The thing you've been most afraid of, being fully seen, being rejected for who you really are, being too much, taking up too much space, shining too brightly. That's actually your greatest protection right now. Because in a world where illusions are dissolving and structures are crumbling, the only stable ground is authentic truth. The only thing that won't be swept away in the cosmic flood is the essence of who you really are. And the more you claim that essence, the more you stand in that truth, the more you let your heart lead the way, the more the universe will conspire to support you. Doors will open that were previously locked. People will appear who recognize and celebrate your gifts. Opportunities will manifest that align perfectly with your purpose. Not because you forced anything or manipulated outcomes, but because you finally stopped resisting your own greatness. You finally let yourself be who you came here to be. Think about how counterintuitive this is. Your entire life, you've been taught that safety comes from fitting in, from not rocking the boat, from managing how others perceive you. You learned to read the room before you entered it, to adjust your energy to match whoever you were with, to minimize the parts of yourself that might make others uncomfortable. And maybe that strategy worked for a while. Maybe it kept you safe during chapters of your life when you genuinely weren't strong enough to stand alone. But here's what the Leo full moon revealed. That strategy has an expiration date, and you reached it. The version of you that survived by shrinking, by shape-shifting, by dimming your light to avoid threatening others, that version served you well during the preparation phase of your life. But the preparation phase is over. You're being called into your purpose phase now. And your purpose requires your full presence, your complete authenticity, your unfiltered light. There is no half-stepping into destiny. There is no playing small in your soul mission. The universe needs you at full volume, full brightness, full power. Anything less than that and you're not just limiting yourself, you're actually disrupting the cosmic plan that requires your specific frequency to be broadcast at maximum strength. And this is where the fear gets really loud, doesn't it? Because being fully yourself means being fully visible. It means people will have opinions about you. It means some will misunderstand you. It means others might reject you, criticize you, try to diminish you because your light makes them uncomfortable with their own dimness. And your nervous system, trained by years of seeking approval and avoiding conflict, screams danger when it senses that level of exposure. But here's the energetic truth that changes everything. When you're performing, when you're pretending, when you're contorting yourself to fit other people's expectations, you're actually in a constant state of energetic leakage. You're hemorrhaging life force trying to maintain a facade that doesn't match your core frequency. You're exhausting yourself trying to remember who you're supposed to be with each different person, each different environment, each different situation. That's where the real danger lives, not in being rejected for who you are, but in being accepted for who you're not. Because acceptance based on performance is a prison. It means you can never relax, you can never let your guard down. You can never simply be because being might reveal the truth you've been working so hard to hide. But when you stand in your authentic essence, when you let yourself be seen exactly as you are without apology or explanation, something magical happens in your energy field. The leakage stops, the hemorrhaging ceases. Your life force stops flowing outward, trying to manage everyone's perception of you, and starts flowing inward, nourishing you, strengthening you, anchoring you in a kind of unshakable stability that no external circumstance can disturb. And from that place of energetic wholeness, you become magnetic in a completely different way. Not magnetic because you're performing charisma or manufacturing charm, but magnetic because your frequency is clear, undistorted, pure, and clear frequency attracts resonant frequency. When you stop trying to be everything to everyone, you start becoming exactly what you're meant to be for the people who are meant to find you. The ones who are supposed to be in your life, they'll feel your authenticity like a beacon. They'll be drawn to you not because you impressed them or convinced them, but because something in their soul recognizes something in yours. That's the level of connection the Leo full moon was trying to activate. Not surface-level networking or strategic relationship building, but soul-level recognition. The kind of bond that doesn't need to be forced or maintained through effort because it exists on a frequency where authenticity meets authenticity and both parties can finally exhale. Doors will open that were previously locked, and I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean literal opportunities that seemed impossible when you are operating from your performing self will suddenly become available when you step into your authentic self. Because the universe responds to frequency, not effort. You can hustle and grind and force and push from your wounded ego all day long, but if your frequency is fractured, if your energy is scattered across a dozen different versions of who you think you should be, you're broadcasting static. And static doesn't attract clear opportunities. But the moment you consolidate your energy, the moment you stop fragmenting yourself to please others and start integrating yourself around your core truth, your frequency clarifies. And clear frequency opens clear pathways. You'll find yourself in the right place at the right time without even trying. You'll meet people who have exactly what you need or need exactly what you have. You'll stumble into opportunities that align so perfectly with your gifts that it feels like they were designed specifically for you. And they were. Because that's how the universe works when you stop blocking your own flow with performance and pretense. People will appear who recognize and celebrate your gifts, not tolerate them, not manage them, not try to shape them into something more palatable, but genuinely celebrate them. And this might be the most radical shift of all, because many of us have spent so long in environments where our gifts were seen as threats, where our brightness made others feel inadequate, where our authentic expression was labeled as too much, too intense, too overwhelming. So we learn to manage ourselves, to parcel out our gifts in digestible doses, to apologize for our strengths as if they were weaknesses. But the Leo full moon came to obliterate that conditioning, because your gifts are not something to be managed. They're something to be unleashed. And the right people, the ones who are actually meant to be in your orbit, they won't ask you to dim anything. They'll ask you to shine brighter because your light doesn't threaten them, it activates them. Your authenticity doesn't make them uncomfortable, it gives them permission to be more authentic too. This is how we heal collectively. Not by all shrinking to the same mediocre middle ground, but by each of us claiming our unique brilliance so boldly that it inspires others to claim theirs. The ripple effect of one person standing in their full power is incalculable. You have no idea how many people are waiting for you to go first, to be brave first, to claim your light first, so they can finally give themselves permission to do the same. Opportunities will manifest that align perfectly with your purpose, and here's where it gets really interesting. When you're living from your authentic essence, you stop chasing opportunities and start attracting aligned ones. There's a massive difference. Chasing comes from lack, from the belief that you need to convince the universe you're worthy of good things. Attracting comes from fullness, from the recognition that you already are the good thing, and the universe is simply matching your frequency with external circumstances that reflect that truth. So the opportunities that come when you're in your authentic power, they don't feel like struggle. They don't require you to twist yourself into uncomfortable shapes, or compromise your values, or pretend to be someone you're not. They feel natural, almost inevitable, like doors opening because you're finally the right shape to walk through them. And if an opportunity requires you to abandon your authentic self to pursue it, that's not your opportunity. That's a test. The universe showing you that you've healed enough to recognize misalignment before you waste years of your life chasing something that was never meant for you in the first place. Not because you forced anything or manipulated outcomes, but because you finally stopped resisting your own greatness. And this is the part that terrifies the ego the most, because the ego loves to believe it's in control. It loves strategies and plans and 5-year roadmaps and backup plans for the backup plans. But authentic power doesn't operate like that. Authentic power is about surrender, not the kind of surrender that gives up, but the kind that lets go. Letting go of the need to control how your life unfolds. Letting go of the timeline you decided was correct. Letting go of the specific form you thought your success had to take. And in that surrender, in that release of ego's stranglehold on your destiny, something far more intelligent takes over. Your soul's wisdom. your higher self knowing, the universe's infinite intelligence that can see pathways and possibilities your limited human mind could never conceive. This is what the Leo full moon was training you for. Not to figure everything out, but to trust the unfolding. Not to manipulate outcomes, but to align with the current that's already carrying you toward your highest good. You finally let yourself be who you came here to be, and that simple act of self-permission changes the entire trajectory of your existence. So as the Leo full moon portal closes and you stand in these final days of integration before the next cosmic wave hits, ask yourself one question. Am I ready to stop performing and start being? Am I ready to release the masks, drop the defenses, and show up as the raw, real, magnificent human I actually am? Am I ready to trust that my authentic self is not only enough, but exactly what the world needs from me right now? Because if the answer is yes, if you can feel that truth resonating in your heart, even if your mind is screaming in protest, then you're about to discover something that will change everything. You were never meant to fit in. You were never supposed to be just like everyone else. You were designed to be a unique expression of consciousness, a singular note in the cosmic symphony, a light that shines in a way no one else's light can. And the moment you stop trying to be anything other than that, the moment you claim your authentic power without apology or hesitation, that's the moment your life transforms from struggle to flow, from confusion to clarity, from separation to belonging. But let's get specific about what this transformation actually looks like in your daily life, because spiritual concepts need grounded application. When you stop performing and start being, your relationships change. The people who were only connected to your mask start falling away, and it might hurt at first because you've known them for years, because you've shared history, because letting go feels like loss. But it's not loss, it's liberation. You're making space for relationships built on truth rather than performance, connection rather than transaction, soul recognition rather than social convenience. When you drop the defenses and show up raw and real, your work changes. You stop pursuing careers that look good on paper and start creating work that feels good in your soul. You stop chasing titles and start building legacy. You stop performing competence to impress others and start expressing mastery because it flows naturally from who you are. When you trust that your authentic self is enough, your entire energy field reorganizes itself. The anxiety that came from constantly monitoring yourself evaporates. The exhaustion that came from maintaining multiple versions of yourself dissolves. The inner conflict that came from betraying your truth in order to gain approval finally resolves. And what's left is simplicity, clarity, peace. Not the peace of having everything figured out, but the peace of finally being aligned with your own soul. This is not about becoming perfect. This is about becoming whole. This is not about never feeling fear. This is about feeling fear and choosing courage anyway. This is not about having all the answers. This is about trusting the questions your heart keeps asking and following them even when the path isn't clear. Because here's what the Leo full moon was really teaching you. Your authentic self is not something you need to create or achieve or become. It's something you need to remember and reclaim. It's been there all along, underneath the conditioning, beneath the trauma, behind the masks you built to survive. And every single experience you've had, every wound, every betrayal, every moment of rejection, all of it was preparing you for this moment right now, when you're finally strong enough, brave enough, healed enough to let that authentic self emerge fully. The caterpillar doesn't become the butterfly by trying harder at being a caterpillar. It surrenders to a process of complete dissolution, trusting that something more beautiful is waiting on the other side of the unraveling. And that's where you are right now, in the dissolution phase. In the space between who you were and who you're becoming. And it's uncomfortable and disorienting and sometimes terrifying. But it's also sacred, because you're not falling apart. You're falling into place. You're not losing yourself. You're finding yourself. And the version of you that's emerging from this cosmic chrysalis is going to be so radiant, so powerful, so authentically expressed that you won't even recognize the person you were before this transformation began. The Leo full moon portal is closing. The The Saturn-Neptune conjunction is building, the cosmic reset is coming. And you are exactly where you need to be, feeling exactly what you need to feel, receiving exactly the activation your soul requested before you incarnated into this lifetime. Trust the process. Trust your heart. Trust that the universe is not testing you to break you, but to reveal the unbreakable essence that's been inside you all along. If this message activated something deep in your soul, leave a like and subscribe to stay connected to these cosmic transmissions and seal this energy into your reality by commenting, "I claim my authentic power." The portal is closing, the new timeline is forming, and your destiny is waiting on the other side of your courage. It's time.